Welcome back to another fireside chat with Ben and CJ. Today we're talking about the Today we're reviewing an anamorphic lens. It's a 51.8 from Sirui. Yeah, it's for Fuji, correct?
Yep.
So just spec it out, like walk me through the specs of it. Price.
Yeah. So Sirui, they make, so first of all, Preface, give a little bit of context. Sirui, they kind of burst into the camera space. They've been making like some different accessories, tripods and some other things like that. But their biggest splash was a couple of years ago when they came out with an anamorphic lens. So anamorphic lenses, for you guys who don't know, whenever you go to a movie theater, it's in what we call an anamorphic format. And so they're usually widescreen. If you watch a movie on your TV, they usually have a crop on the top and the bottom where these black bars are. And they're like, why doesn't it fill out the whole screen? Well, that's because of the lens they're using. They're using a widescreen format lens. And so that's the, basically get more width on the right and the left rather than the top and the bottom. Those lenses are extraordinarily expensive. But Sirui kind of burst onto the scene and said, we're gonna try to make a affordable option in the anamorphic space. We're gonna try to make an affordable option for people. Because anamorphic, it's really trendy right now, actually. If you kind of watch commercials, even if you're watching like a football game or anything, watch commercials closely, you'll see stuff that is shot more and more in anamorphic. You'll see these black bars come in from the top and bottom of the screen at random, like depending on the ad, depending how they want to make it look. Yeah, crazy flares, crazy stuff like that. And so that's what I love. I love the film look. That's part of the reason I shoot on Fuji. It's part of the reason I use the anamorphic lens. I have is the 50 mil, the 50 mil, which you want to walk through the math with how that works.
I'm pretty sure all of their anamorphic lens lineup for all of their different mounts are APS-C.
Are you sure about that?
You're using a sensor that is cropped in slightly. So anywhere from 1.5x to 1.6 or give or take.
Yeah, the sensor itself is smaller.
Yeah, or even 2x, like if you're using micro four thirds, which they offer. And so what that does is it takes the focal length and aperture, like maximum aperture, and you have to multiply those numbers by whatever your camera's crop factor is. So if you're using Fuji, you gotta multiply 50 and 1.8 by 5. No, by 1.5. Kind of get into the weeds with all of the math there, but I think roughly the 50 is going to be what, like a 75?
Yeah, so it's pretty tight in terms of like what you're shooting. But the trade-off with that is that you get a really cool low depth of field image. And so, which is another characteristic of anamorphic and any kind of like cinematography, super like out of depth of field stuff. It's really good when it comes to that. And I like to shoot things kind of closer in anyway. I like the detail shots. I like, really kind of intense, kind of punchy in. If you watch some of these more intense Netflix shows or anything like that, they're really close in, kind of, they're tight and intimate, like drama. You gotta mix in some wide shots and stuff. I think the big thing is a lot of people, they see this lens and they're like, oh, I want flares. And it's basically like a flare lens or whatever. Honestly,
they see it as a specialty piece.
Yeah, they see it as like a specialty piece.
Kind of like a probe lens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, well, something that I might use every once in a while, maybe if I wanted like this particular shot, whatever. I filmed whole videos on this lens, and it looks really good because of the characteristics of the anamorphic lens. The oval bokeh, the out of depth of field, the really tight in, the flares, of course, but the sharpness. This is a very sharp lens. You get like every detail crispy, and so that when you're filming it like 4K H.265, you're getting a ton of detail. If you lean into the style that it brings, you're gonna get great results. If you try to fit it into an environment where it shouldn't be fit into, then it's gonna get kind of whack.
For today's sponsored message, I was gonna film it on the Ursa, but for the life of me, I cannot figure it out, so I'm very sorry. It's gonna be on my iPhone today. All right, so for today's little food for thought bit, I want to kind of reference 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. And I guess I'll just say it. In it, it says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, a new creation has come. The new is here, the old is gone. And so as Christ followers or as people who are living for higher purpose, I think it's really critical that we pivot our thinking in judging others, the way that we view others, the way that we see ourselves in relation to others. And I think right now in America, with times that are full of division, full of hatred, I think it's really crucial and critical to remember that even like people who are on complete opposite ends of different spectrums are still made in God's image. They're still most likely rational individuals, and they deserve your respect and your love and your kindness and patience, because I think one of the foundational teachings of Jesus was to attempt one's best to behave and interact with others as he did. And so if we were to fully embrace that, then I think the current way that not only like secular individuals, but Christian communities are treating people in today's political and crazy landscape, it really needs to change. And it's really easy to think that as an individual, oh, you can't do anything, you can't have much effect or impact on something that needs kind of this top-down change, but really change starts at the bottom and works its way to the top. So I would just encourage you to try today to be a better person, and to, even if someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of cursing them off, would you just pray for them? Would you pray safety for them? And would you pray to God for patience? And that's all for today. If you're wondering why I'm talking weird, it's because I got braces put on like 2 days ago.
I think the anamorphic look is it's contingent on what story you're trying to tell, just like any lens. It's not about what gear should I use, or what gear, like what's the newest thing that I need to buy. It's like, would this work well for the look that I'm trying to get in order to complement the stories that I'm telling? Because I sat on this lens for 2 years. I saw it as soon as it came out. I'm like, I want that, but let me see if it will work out, that kind of thing. And then I got a Fuji camera, and I said I can get an anamorphic lens finally, and I can make this look that I want. And now I'm making the stuff that I've really been wanting to make for the last long time. I would say, lastly, if you're considering buying this lens, it is a lens that has a really beautiful look to it. It's a lens that can kind of ratchet up your filmmaking, and I literally mean like filmmaking. If you're trying to make things that look like films, look like professionally done, really great looking stories, I would highly recommend this lens. On the video side, it can be tough because sometimes people don't want that. If you're working for clients, sometimes they don't want that. It really does depend. But if you're like me and you love movies, you love the cinematic look, you love really intense and really awesome cinematic style, I would highly recommend this lens. It's really good. It's something that will really challenge your filmmaking, something that will really bring your filmmaking into more of a cinematic and more of a Hollywood type style.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Catch you guys in the next one.
See you. That's pretty good.
Awesome, man.